What if everything you were taught about India's ancient history was only half the truth? What if while we were memorizing the Harappa and the Mohenjo-daro in school, there was another civilization just as advanced, just as urban, thriving quietly in the south? What if India wasn't one story but many, and someone decided which stories to be silenced? Welcome to Keeladi, an archaeological site in Tamil Nadu that has become the center of the fiercest fight in modern Indian history. Not just over pots and bricks, but over identity, power, and who gets to write the past. It all began near Madurai by the Vaigai River in 2014. A site called Keeladi started whispering secrets buried for over 2,600 years. Terracotta pipes, ring wells, urban drains, iron tools, ivory dyes, Tamil Brahmi script on pottery shards, everything pointing to one staggering conclusion: that an advanced urban Tamil civilization flourished between 580 BCE and 200 CE. And it wasn't just huts and pots. This was city life, planned streets, skilled artisans, long distance trade, literacy, leisure, water systems, and whatnot. Remarkably, no religious symbols. A secular, industrial, literate society in the deep south. Sounds familiar? Yes. This wasn't just ancient history. It was the Sangam era, come alive through carbon, clay, and courage. But then the resistance began. The lead archaeologist, Dr. Amarnath Ramakrishna, submitted a 982-page report in 2023, detailing the first two phases of excavation. That report is still unpublished. The Archaeological Survey of India demanded he revise it. He refused because the science was clear. Accelerometer mass spectrometry dated Keeladi back to the 6th century BCE. That's the same time the Gangetic plains were urbanizing. In short, South India wasn't following the North. It was evolving alongside, or maybe even earlier. And that truth was inconvenient. Let me say that again. This wasn't just an archaeological discovery. It was a disruption. It shattered the neat little timeline taught in textbooks. That civilization began in Indus, moved to the Vedas, then the Mauryas, then slowly trickled down to the south. Keeladi blew that open. It told a very different story, that of an independent Dravidian civilization, urban, secular, literate, thriving without Sanskrit, without Vedas, without northern influence. For some, that wasn't just history, it was hearsay. In 2017, just as the findings began gaining traction, Dr. Ramakrishna was transferred out. The center cut the funding. New archaeologists downplayed the discoveries. They said there was no continuity in the brick structures. Really? After thousands of artifacts and 11 phases of excavation? After ring wells, pipes, kilns, furnaces, graffiti, dyes, and Tamil inscriptions? Let me be blunt. This wasn't just about archaeology. This was about ideology. Because Keeladi doesn't fit into the mainstream Aryan Vedic narrative. It doesn't speak Sanskrit. Keeladi did not chant the Rig Veda. It speaks Old Tamil. It worships no idol. It builds cities with drains and dyes and trade routes. And that terrifies those who want India's civilizational history to flow in only one direction, that is from north to south. Keeladi says no. It says the south had its own story. It says the roots of Tamil civilization runs just as deep, maybe even deeper. And when a civilization buried under coconut groves starts shaking the foundations of the official narrative, that's when the real digging begins. Not in the soil, but in the system. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin put it bluntly. I'm constantly saying that the history of India will be written from Tamil Nadu. And Keeladi is the reason why. Let me give you the facts. Keeladi reveals a civilization with urban planning before most of India's cities existed. It used Tamil Brahmi script possibly before Ashoka carved his edicts. It traded with Rome. Beads of agate, carnelian and glass prove that. It had industrial zones, weaving, dyeing and metallurgy. It had leisure, dyes, hopscotch and even art. And it had no temples. Think about that. A secular society in 600 BCE. And so what exactly is the center afraid of? That history might prove Tamil civilization wasn't born from the North's blessing. That a Sangam era existed while the so-called Vedic Aryans were still nomadic. That maybe, just maybe, India didn't rise from one civilization but many. And that our textbooks need rewriting, not just with new data but with new respect. Let me be clear. This is not North versus South. This is truth versus narrative. This is Tamil Nadu demanding to be recognized as an equal part of India's ancient glory. Not beneath, not behind, but side by side, and that is history. To archaeologist Dr. Amarnath Ramakrishna, to IAS officer Mr. Uday Chandran, to Minister Tangam Tannarasu, and to many others who worked tirelessly, fearlessly, passionately, thank you. You didn't just dig up artifacts, you dug up dignity. You gave voice to the bricks, the beads, the bones, and said, this too is India. The question isn't whether Keeladi changes our history. It already has. The real question is, will we have the courage to accept it, or will we keep rewriting truth to fit our politics? Because the trenches of Keeladi are not just about archaeology. They are battlegrounds between past and power, between discovery and denial, between the India we inherited and the one we deserve to know. History belongs to those who dare to remember, not just the winners, not just the loudest, but all of us. Vanakkam, and thank you for listening.